are talking about Dragonheart, Battle for the Heartfire, which is the fourth film in the Dragonheart series. Who knew this one was going to keep going, eh? Originally this was actually going to be called Dragonborn, although I feel that may have been changed through the Skyrim game, who knows. So this one here, Patrick Stewart takes over the voice of the dragon. We seem to have had somewhat of a established actor do the voices for these characters through this series, obviously starting off with Sean Connery in the first one and Ben Kingsley in the last one. Now, this one I feel follows on from the third movie, and I have seen the third movie, but I have no memory of what actually happened, so shows you the quality maybe. But it obviously it's its own story, but there is definite connections I feel from the third film. At least I think there is. Like I said, I can't remember what happened in the third film whatsoever. So the story here basically focuses on two siblings, both who were born with some kind of scaly mutation on their body, which basically gives them dragon-like powers. The male basically has kind of super strength, and the female seemingly have the ability to control fire. And these guys were sort of separated when they were younger, and it really tells us though of these two guys with opposing forces. The male basically ends up being the kind of the king of this kind of, I guess, English nation. And, he's a new king taking over because he didn't know his heritage and has to take over the kingdom and all that with the dragon as his kind of like advisor. Hasn't seen his sister for, a good amount of time. And she rolls up with a bunch of Vikings to take over the place. So, what happens? It's basically a kind of Game of Thrones for the PG audience, I would put. So this movie suffers from an affliction that I feel has really kind of been with all of the Dragonheart films, and that is they find an excuse to take the dragon out of action for a good portion of the film. I don't think it's as bad as some of the other ones, but he gets depowered basically and is in change for a good portion of this film. So to cut down on those expensive CGI costs, So it's one of these things that, man, you keep doing this. And the ending of this as well, because haven't we seen this ending before? It feels cheap. This film kind of annoyed me because of that. It just seems to rehash the same things. I got to say, I did kind of like the differences, having these two kind of leads who have similar but opposing powers, and it's almost like you have this kind of mishmash of Game of Thrones meets like History Channel's Vikings, and it seems like what's popular? Let's throw all these kind of like fancy and medieval things that seem to be popular at the time here into this kind of like melting pot, but we can't have it too violent because it's a kids movie, and this is what we come out with. So, it's kind of fun. I've got to say the graphics on the dragon were pretty good. It doesn't look too crappy or too kind of, cheap CGI. It does a pretty good job. And I've got to say that Patrick Stewart's actually quite a good voice actor for this. And it kind of really feels like the speech is coming out the dragon rather than it's kind of being overdubbed. I think it's good. And the leads here are kind of quite likeable, and there's some kind of fun action sequences. Like I said, it's all done with a kind of tongue-in-cheek. If you've seen kind of Xena, Hercules' Legendary Journeys, it really reminds me of Legends of the Seeker, actually, if you've seen that. Kind of that sort of thing, so not quite as gritty as either Vikings or Game of Thrones, but it's fun, it's very cheesy, I think it's very predictable, I think it really rehashes what you've seen in previous Dragonheart movies, but it's okay. I would give this movie probably a 5 out of 10 for its audience. If you kind of like these films, you're going to like this one. I don't feel it strays too far from the path of what you've seen before, basically. So 5 out of 10 for me, pretty much you bang on average. If you like this type of films, you're going to like this one. If you don't, this one's not going to change your mind. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me comments. And I shall look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.